Hi, good morning. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are at, and welcome to the Savant
Family
Family
show.
Show. And really, all powerful ideas in history are all driven by one strongest archetype. And if we really look at, wanting more out of life, we need to really learn how to work with our archetypes within us because they are all universal. Every single one, whether your religion, background, wherever you are from, we all have different archetypes. We're going to talk about a few of them today and how they can actually be best utilized and how you can work with every single one in every situation that you have. So, the big question is this: how do married couples like us who have busy schedules, run high performing businesses, face challenges daily, raise multiple children,
And yet, still remain in love, passionate, and happy like when we first dated.
that is the question. And this show will give you the answers.
Welcome to the Savant Family Show.
Master your relationship, your life, and your business now. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
And hey, if this is your first time watching us, my name is Sys Phyllis, my beautiful wife, my amazing business partner, Phyllis Savanh.
Hi.
And let's start here, guys. Let's start with celebrating our wins. I know that there's a lot of things that we can celebrate, as well as there are things that we are grateful for in this world, right? So, we are basically creating this movement where we want to have us as well as you to really stop, smell the roses, be present, be emotionally connected, and really celebrate the things that we have accomplished, as well as really sit back and say, man, I am really grateful for the things that I have, right? So share with us what you're grateful for and share with us what you are celebrating, okay?
Yeah, so what are you grateful for, baby?
I am grateful for, my team, our team. We were just talking about this yesterday. Our team is killer, right? They're great. And I just couldn't imagine accomplishing a lot of things that we do on a weekly basis without them. So I just want to give you guys a thumbs up and I really celebrate that. We really appreciate you guys all in our lives: Monique, Diana, and Tony, and Joanna, and Mary. You guys are all amazing, and it's wonderful to have you, not only just as friends, but as a team of ours. We don't just look you guys as a employee, but we really love the fact that you're here, and we would not accomplish these things that we are accomplishing today, up to today and prior, and I know in the future, without you guys. So we really appreciate you. Okay?
Yes. I appreciate you too. So they appreciate you
yes,
too.
Yes, I know. But that's what we are grateful for. So, this is a really cool topic that we want to share with you. The title is really learned by Carl Jung. He wrote the book, The 12 Archetypes, the 12 Jungian archetypes, right? And for me, this is a huge discovery because we all have archetypes or personalities within us, and sometimes we are driven by one or two personalities, but we have more than that, right? And we need to really work with your personalities, not against them, okay? And I, throughout my life, quite honestly, business and relationship, one of my personalities that came out quite often, that I was driving everything in my life, decisions, what I focus on, the meaning I gave was my warrior, my fighter, right? My fight. I mean, I I fought at such a young age, right? So leaving Laos, crossing the Mekong River, getting shot at, and living in a refugee camp in Thailand when I was 5 years old. So my fighter mode was already out ever since then, and growing up, I'm pretty sure before 5 in Laos, not having a lot, and really going through that that childhood. My warrior is always present. It's always ready to come out and fight, right? And
fight and protect.
And fight, protect, and if I want to break through something, that's how I did it. In relationships, it was always fighting as well. And I when I discovered this, I'm like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense, because we're going to share with you here in a little bit 2 very simple steps that you really need to do, that I do, that I absolutely love, that has really flipped my whole life upside down, and really the right way, the correct way. And I bring these 2 simple questions to it when I realize that I have a different personality, having multiple personalities, having different archetypes like what Carl Jung wrote is just so amazing to really understand all. Yeah, we're not going to share all 12. We're going to share with just an example of a few of them, right? In it, but the first one that he talks about is obviously the ruler, right? The ruler, which is the sovereign or the king and queen, right? And why is this so important? Because every situation you're faced with, you should really step back even before facing or going into it and say, what archetype do I need to bring to this, right? So which, we'll get into the tips in a little bit here, but that really can handle this the best, right? So there's the ruler. The ruler is the king, the queen, the sovereign, the leader, right? There's the hero, right? The warrior, the hero that wants to be the hero, the fighter, the warrior within you. There's the lover, right? Where you are, you have a lover within you that needs to show up, right? And then there's the magician, the wisdom. There's so many other things. There's the outlaw, right? The bad boy, the bad girl in you needs to come out as well. So they're there. The jester, the funny, the kid, right? The jokester, that's all under the jester. But it's a really fascinating read, actually. And if you want to read or listen to the audio of it, but we all have them. Again, whether your background, whatever nationality you are, whatever religion, we all have them. So just think about you right now, right? Man, how have I showed up in every situation? In personalities, on camera, in relationships, raising your children, right? Leading your employees or even an employee at a company. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we show up with our one or two primary archetypes, and we really have more. So it's almost like you have this toolbox, but you're not, taking all the right tools to fix or to apply on that thing that you're trying to do, which is life, right? So.
Yes, I understand exactly what he's saying because I am drawn to him because of his worry, right? Because he's always he's always there. He's always, the way he shows is always very strong. And I do believe that the reason why he drawn to me is because my primary archetype is lovers. I like to
Definitely.
give love to people. I like to give them the attention to make them feel special. And I think that's how we got drawn to each other. However, after a while, we started to fight with each other because I'm a lover. So sometimes I would like to have a mirror, right? I would like the lover to come out to more love. And then sometimes he will actually like me to be a warrior. He wants me to, to be in the fight mode. So that way we can get a lot of things done faster because, a lot of time lovers is a little bit slower. Warrior is always very fast because it's attack mode, right? And imagine, a lover trying to give love and then the warrior keep fighting her or hurting her. How is that relationship going to last? It won't. The truth is. And that's the reason why, I almost give up the ring and I was like, I can't do this anymore. And then thankfully we got into, get to know Tony Robbins and we, in Tony Robbins, we learned about all these archetypes. And then we realized that, wow, actually we just have to match the energy signature at the appropriate time.
Yes.
So what do I really mean? Like when I'm at work and he is in a warrior mode because he needs to get certain thing done. Now I know how to call, my warrior to come out so that I can match with his signature and get things done.
And not only does she call her archetype out, but she can actually call mine. Yep. So for example, if there's a thing that we need to accomplish, right? Because it's 2 against 1. It's that thing that we need to achieve, right? We need to overcome, whether it's a challenge or we have a decision to make or something to create. It just doesn't matter. So if she believes that, man, his warrior is present right now in this thing that we're looking at, but realistically, I need the magician. I don't need the warrior. I need the magician here, actually, because the magician is the wise person who can really sit there and really think things through instead of I gotta do it. Let's go after it. Let's get on the battlefield. Let's charge, right? I need that. So she can ask. She goes, actually, this one thing, I really need more creativity, more collaboration from you. Actually, can you take your magician out, right? Yep. And then it almost pattern interrupts me to be like, whoa, Joe's been like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I need to bring my magician out, right? And that is so key to understanding because just like something just happened recently, we were on YouTube and my wife didn't understand something, right? So my king, my ruler, and my warrior in me could have been really like offensive to that. But I'm like, okay, she doesn't understand. So I had to ask myself within me to say, okay, who needs to show up for this one thing right now? So my magician came out. Oh, I get it. Let's change it. And it changed just like that. And it evolved into a greater story because the magician showed up to solve that solution, to solve that problem that was happening like in an instant, right? My magician's wrong. But my warrior wouldn't have been able to do that.
Yep.
My ruler, my king would have been like, nope, we're going to do it like this, right? And that isn't needed. So my magician came out and said, okay, what can I do?
Yep.
What can I do right now, right? And who needs to, really come up? So does that make sense? So,
yes. So the point number one is
who needs to show up? So look at your life together. Maybe let me use an example of a relationship, right? So let's assume that something happened in your relationship, and you're coming home from work, and let's assume that you feel attacked, right?
Yep.
And you feel it, but it's really not. Actually, you have ran into this. We've ran into this. Your wife or your husband is not really attacking you, but you feel attacked, but they're not. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You know it. So instead of, stepping back and say, okay, who needs to show up right now? The lover, so the lover can really, caress and cherish this moment, or the king that has to really look at everything and really make a decision, or the magician to really be the wiser one to say what's really going on here, so that we can solve this. And if you show up with your warrior, like now you're fighting, right? You're like, why are you attacking me? Well, we're gonna fight now. It's like then you don't, do you understand? So then you're like, okay, now the fight ensues, right? The fight ensues because you brought the wrong person to essentially, to this thing that just recently happened. So
yes, yeah. Comment down below. I mean, do you echo with us? Do you have a big aha moment like, wow, I didn't know that this is the archetype that I have been always be as my primary, and I didn't realize that I can shift into any role that I need.
Yes.
Even for me, a lot of time, as a mother, as a very responsible person, as a woman, sometimes I tend to get into my stress zone, right? My warrior zone, worry zone, not warrior, okay? The warrior. And then I realized that I need to call out my magician, because the magician will tell me that, hey, I can stop, or I can slow down time, I can speed time up, or I can create new things. So I'm not being bound onto this box that I need to do. So who I need to show up. So when I call my magician out, I'll just feel so much more relaxed, and I know exactly what I need to do at any given time to make that happen.
Yes. So, a good example of this is tonight, for example, right? Tonight is our date night. Fridays are our date nights, right? And what I end up doing is, if let's assume that your warrior is out, right? That's your worry that day, and on this particular topic, you're like, oh, I don't want to take her out, right? But if your lover showed up, like, well, it's our date night. No matter what's going on, the lover has to take his queen out.
Yes.
To dinner, to have fun, to do whatever it is, because it's their date night. Does that make sense to you? So if your lover shows up, then your lover's going to make that decision. So, and then when they show up, with this thing that's happening, you have to think, okay, when they do show up, though, second step is, how would they handle this, right? I'll use another good example of this is, we are on the online space right now, right? So one of my mentors that I absolutely love and respect a lot is Peng Joon, right? Mm-hmm. I respect him because I think he's just brilliant. The way he does things, simplifies things, and he gets things done, right? And obviously he's amassed some really great success.
Yep.
So for me, I look at a business decision or a creation that I need to create, and yes, I do that. Okay, what archetype needs to be here for me, right? What type needs to show up now? So my magician is, I'm creating. My warrior can't be here, but my king needs to show up too to make decisions, right? And then my warrior eventually has come out to take it into action, right? So I need to bring all those out. And then I kind of envision Peng Joon in front of me on this particular thing and say, okay, if Peng Joon was my archetype here, how would he handle this, right? How would he create this? And I step into his role and say, how would he handle this? How would he create this, right? And
what would he say?
Yeah, what would he say? What would he do? And I would do it essentially, and then I'll step back into my own form. But I love that because and this works, and I'll tell you why. Because I just recently created a powerful presentation. I followed his proven presentation model, right? So I know it works because he just ran one a couple days ago on the new one, and I'm like, oh, see, I get it. See, I get it. Because mine was very close, right? It needs a lot more improvement, and I love learning the new thing that he's doing. And I'm like, but mine was really close because I put myself in his shoes, like what he would do when he was doing this presentation, not me, right? I took myself totally out of it. What would he do, right? As he's explaining this, and I have improved myself. I need to improve more. So now I'm going back to learn some of the things that he's teaching. But when I do creation, though, when I go to actually create it, that's essentially I'm in Peng Jun's body.
So
Peng Jun, I'm in your body. Yeah, I become Peng Jun, right? As I'm doing it.
Magically become Peng Jun.
Exactly. So this is so powerful to really understand, and this is applicable to everything. Your relationship, you want a better life, better job, better relationship, whatever. It really is applicable. You have to bring forth your archetype to. You're in a job interview, right? Good example. You're sitting there in a job interview. You want this job, right? Who's going to show up that's going to get you that job? I mean, who needs to show up? How will they handle this interview, right? If you notice some of the things that you've done in the past, you're like, no wonder I didn't get that job. Because, man, think back. My warrior showed up, right? My warrior was in that interview, right? Man, if I would have had my magician. I remember when I got that job, when I interviewed, man, I was like, woo, Merlin, right? Like the whole room was spinning because of me. I had my magic wand out. Just think about that. Because you brought your archetype. And you didn't even know it, most likely. You didn't know, right? And we didn't know as well. So when you know your archetype. So Carl Jung wrote this book called the 12 Jungian Archetypes. Very simple read to look at and be like, oh my God, that makes sense because we all have it. We all have it within us.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. And then every time you call them out, and or before you even call them out, you will like, this archetype, how would they handle this?
Correct.
And then whenever you realize, okay, this person will handle this in this form, not really the outcome I want, no problem. Scratch that. The next one, okay, would this one, figure out better? Sure. Yes, perfect. Then you will just call the person out because you know that is exactly how you want it to be handled.
Yeah, even a simple fight with your spouse, even a simple one. If you want to squash it and not make it a big fight, you can either fight, right? Because if your warrior's out, you're going to fight with her or him, right? And then all you have to do is step back and say, okay, who do I need to bring out here? Because it's not about him or her. It's about that thing, that problem, right? So if you say my lover needs to show up, okay, perfect. Then how would my lover handle this?
So show me. I'm gonna ready to fight you. What are you gonna do?
Oh, babe, I love you.
Aww.
Right? So
I'm not gonna fight you with you anymore.
The lover will show up and do that, and it just the issue, gets solved and changes happen immediately, right? And you go and you have a beautiful night after that. So, my brothers and sisters out there, this is, I know that you guys all love this video. This is probably going to be one of our most watched show. I just love this, and this is so powerful. It was such a powerful discovery. And I apply this in my business.
Yes.
I apply this in my life. I apply this with my children, my wife, my associates, employees, because you do have to show up differently.
Yes.
You do. And you have within you, just didn't know them, right? So now you do. And if you haven't, you're like, oh my God, I got to grab this book. Go read it. It's a very simple read. Carl Jung, 12 Jungian Archetypes, okay? So, work with your personalities, not against them. That is the title. So, think back, who needs to show up and how would they handle this thing?
Yes. Okay? And we also have attached a worksheet, just a summary of the 12 archetypes. So in that way, it's a very easy read for you. Yes.
So I know that you like this, so please hit the like button as well as comment as well. And I know some of you have commented already. Thank you, Danny and Johanna and everybody. And really appreciate that. And then as well as, hit the like button. This way you can follow us, right? When we go live or upload new videos, you can be alerted every single time. And then our previous training that we have that you can actually learn more from us as well as learn more about us, including other previous videos, previous shows that we have recorded. So please watch them. We are looking to always add massive value. So thank you very much. We love you all, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow and on the next show. If you like this show, subscribe now.
Remember, mastery starts here.
See you on the next show.